All right, well, I want to introduce what is the new training system we come out with here, and it's the H3 putting trainer system, okay? And basically what it is I created this, my staff and myself put all this stuff together that we thought would, with our fundamentals of putting, and I wanted to come up with a system that you go practice in a setting outside, or you could use it inside, but use this system to work on your putting. Now, as you know, before we get into this system, number one, putting is worth almost half of the game. So the most important thing you can do in your bag is be a good putter, by far, no question about it. Here's number two, is a lot of what I relate to this is going to relate to the full swing. I mean, when I start talking about different things, about the hands down the line and so on, it's exactly what we do in the full swing. And as you guys know with our methodology, if you're doing it incorrect with the putter, you're doing it incorrect with the full swing. If you're doing it incorrect with the full swing, you're doing it incorrect with the putter. So you know how I preach. If you build your putting, you build it right, you're working on your full swing also. It's all part of the same system. It's part of the methodology. But anyway, this is the new system, and we just released it, okay? It just came out. And I'm going to start going through step by step what this system is, okay? And what it is and everything that's involved in this system. So first things first, and I want to show you guys this. This is what it looks like, okay? It's the H3 putting system. Now, I will refer to this here in a second, but I know the first thing in your mind is why do we call it H3? Okay, and I'm going to talk about that first. H3 stands for actually 3 checkpoints. Number one is hands down the line. I'll show you that here in a minute. Number two is hands leading, and number 3 is hip check. So hands down the line, hands leading, hip check. That's what the H3. So every time this is down on the ground, you see the H3, hopefully you think in your head, hands down the line, hands leading, hip check. Okay, and we'll show you that here in a second. Now, let's talk about some pretty obvious things here, and then I'm going to kind of go step by step and train you for this. Here's the first things first on the putting training system here. Here's the first things you see. You see a very dramatic red line in the front and a red line in the middle, based on top of a mirror. Okay, this red line in the front is set up to square your putter face is set up. Remember, there's only 3 things you can do with the putter: path, face, and speed. Face angle is the most important. So this gets the putter face square. This line, the red line here, has a couple dual purposes. Purpose number one is it's going to help us get the putter going back square and straight. But dual purpose number 2 is we need to get our eye or our line over top of the golf ball. So when we sit up over top of a golf ball, we must have our eyes over the golf ball. The reason we want our eyes over the golf ball is because when you create a stroke, okay, an ideal stroke is created by having your eyes over the ball. Number one, it creates the ideal stroke. Number 2 is when we read a putt from behind and then we get up over top of it, if you want to see the same putt, you need to get your eyes over it. If your eyes are on the inside of it, you're going to read a different break from being inside. You're going to adjust, okay? So the number one fundamental, we got to get our eyes over the ball. So when you set up over this trainer, you need to have your eyes, both eyes, right over top of this red line. Now, ideally, you should have one eye over the ball and your back eye should be over the red line, okay? Because the ball should be underneath your lead eye, the trail eye should be on this red line. For most, I've seen this with most of our students, you'll have both eyes over the line. And that's fine, as long as that red line goes through the eyes. So when I look down on this, and I have it set up right here, when I look down on this mirror, I see my eyes over that red line. They're not inside it, they're not outside it, they're right over that line. Okay, so I have the red line to square the face. I have the red line to help, and the back line to help get the putter face square. And now, my eyes are directly over that red line, so right now I can see they're over the red line. So from that position, I can now start, okay, taking some putts. So the first thing I want to talk about and I'll show you that is on this, is the red lines, okay? That's the first thing. We got one to square the face. We've got one here to get your eyes over the ball line, okay? Those are the first thing I want to cover on this putting training system. The second most thing I want to talk about in this putting trainer system is the blue lines. It's probably the second most obvious thing you see on this. And basically what these blue lines do is there's a couple points that we're going to use with them. Number one, it's going to help you get that putter face squared up and square going back. But more importantly is, notice I got right here, I got an ERC golf ball. You know, they also has this in the Chrome Soft X, but Callaway came out with what they call the triple track system, which is what they believe, and we believe it also, is the best way to square up a golf ball and hit it down the line. In fact, many pros are using this now. Well, we kind of copied that colors in here to help you with that. So if you notice, it kind of matches the triple track. It has to do with aircraft carriers and the way you land on aircraft carriers. There's a lot to this, but for the eye, it's supposed to help you square up the best when you look down with red in the middle and blue on the side. So we put that in the mirrors, okay? So that's why we did this. But here's what the lines do, and I'm gonna show you a couple aids for these lines. Here's number one. The lines are set up, okay, so that when you sit up in the different widths of putters, when you set your putter down, you will also be between those lines. Okay, so whether you have a real small narrow putter or when you have a wide putter and so on, it can help you. So if I had a wider putter here, it'd go between the outside lines. If I had a narrower one, it'd go in the inside lines, okay? But it helps you get your putter going back square. Because if you just have the one red line, you're kind of hovering over top of that. I also want to have lines on the outside to help the putter go back square. That's number one. Here's the second thing, and this is I think the more important deal. When you sit up over a putt, we want to get our shoulders square. They must be square, okay? If the shoulders are open, we'll tend to pull the putts. If they're closed, we'll tend to push the putts. Well, here's the problem. When you get over top of a mirror, what do you have to check? This mirror is wide enough, okay? It's wide enough that you can also see your shoulders. So if I sit up over this mirror right now, I can look down and I'll see my edges of my shoulders on this blue line. So if they're not even on the blue line, okay, I will know my shoulders are open or closed. So when I look down, this is also a shoulder mirror. So not only is it an eye line mirror, it's also a shoulder mirror. So, because all you hear people talking about getting their eyes over it, I want my eyes over it and I want my shoulders square, and this mirror allows it to do it. So when I set up now, I can make sure that my putter is in between the two blue lines evenly. Okay, they match up between the blue lines. And now I look down with my eyes over the ball, I can see my shoulders. Right now they're a little bit open. Right now they're a little bit closed. I can look down and see my shoulders, and my shoulders now are square. So I can check my shoulders every time I hit a stroke, okay? And that's key, because you'd be shocked how many students, or maybe you wouldn't be shocked, but how many students I work with, they get their hands lead, and they get in a good position, their eyes are over the ball, and their shoulders are open, or they're closed. Usually it's open, and they start pulling their putts. This mirror, this training system allows you to square up, right or left-handed, by the lines and the edge to make sure your shoulders are square. So the blue lines help you square the putter, help you get back square better, okay? Helps you with the path in the back, but also helps you get those shoulders square. So use those blue lines for the square, getting that putter square and getting those shoulders square when you sit up over the putt. Well, let's talk about the next part of the mirror, the next big thing in the mirror. And it's kind of hard to see this, but I'm going to show you at a level, and I know we have some pictures of this. This black part of the mirror and this black part of the mirror are actually elevated. So there's actually an edge in the back and there's an edge on the front. So the mirror is actually sunk down. And this was actually one of the really things that we wanted to do. We've been working on this for a long time. It was a lot harder than I thought it would be, but this mirror is sunk down. So you have an edge or a lip on the front and you have a lip on the back. So right now I have a putter. I can actually hit this lip on the front and I can actually hit the lip on the back. And they're there for a very specific reason, and this is why. Because when we hit a putt, we want to be catching on the upstroke. Remember, you want to hit a putt on the upstroke, so you're throwing overspin on it. Never, ever, ever do you want to hit a putt in the downstroke. If you hit a putt in the downstroke, you're going to create backspin on it, and the ball's going to bounce, you'll have bad speed, it'll go offline, you'll have all kinds of issues. So we must catch the ball in the upstroke. Well, this lip, this edge, if you catch in the downstroke, you will actually catch the mirror and you'll feel it. You actually will push the mirror. You might even stop your putter. So that lip is set up there. That edge is there to show you if you're putting upstroke on it or not, okay? That's number one. That's the front edge. The back edge is there because, and this is a little bit more complicated, but it's even more important. When you hit a putt, or when you're putting, we have to lead with the hands for a couple of reasons. Number one, it helps you get your hands down the line. But number two, it takes the loft off the putter or makes the putter at zero loft or negative loft. And that's what we want. We want zero loft to negative loft with overspin. Well, it will lift the back end of the putter up. So every putter hit out there, every single one, when you set up, it's not flat on the ground. The back end is lifted up, and it should be. But one of the most common mistakes made by golfers is they put the putter down and they take the backstroke, and guess what? They aren't leading with their hands and they have too much loft in the putter. Well, this mirror, this system is set up. If your putter, the back end's not up, you take it back, you're going to catch that back lip. You may catch with the back of the putter, you may catch with the bottom of the putter, but your putter will catch it, okay? So this system is set up not only for the through swing to make sure, but also for the back swing to make sure the back edge of the putter's up. And I'll show you one here. I'll actually show you good and bad on this. So right now I have the mirror down, okay? I have our training system down, and I'm going to put the ball in the front, and I'm going to hit one with a downstroke. So this would be an improper stroke. So I'm going to set up, and I'm going to hit with a downstroke. And if you notice, because that downstroke, it hit the mirror. Yeah, I couldn't get through the putt. And I'm going to do it again. I'm going to hit one more improper again. I'm going to hit it with the downstroke. And you heard that click. It didn't move the mirror, but it clicked loud because what? I hit the lip of the mirror. Now I'm going to do it properly. So we set up. Guys, you don't have to hover the putt or anything else. You're set up comfortably, but if you hit a proper upstroke, okay, you'll miss that lip every single time. That's the point. The lip's there to show you if you're putting an upstroke. If there's any downstroke at all, it's going to hit that lip. Same thing with the back lip. When I put the ball down, now, if my hands are forward and I take the putter back, I'm going to have no problem getting above that lip. If I drag it back, I'm going to hit that back lip of the mirror. It's going to stop. It's all doing improperly here. Okay, so I'm going to set up. Okay, I'm going to do it improper. So if I set, and this we see all the time, we go, okay, so you notice I can't even get the putter back. It hits the back of the lip because my hands aren't leading because the back of the putter is dragging. Okay, and that's improper. So proper is we get the ball set up properly, we work in there, we get the hands leading, now we take it back, take it through, no problem at all, I get above both lips. Okay, so that's what those lips. So on this mirror, the edge in the front, the edge in the back are to make sure your hands are leading, the back end of that putter is up, and you're catching the upstroke. That's the proper fundamentals. That's the perfect fundamentals. That's what's going to get you putting a lot better. All right, well, let's talk about the H3. I already mentioned this, but I want to talk about it again. Remember, the H3 is our 3 checkpoints we require or we strongly promote for our fundamentals. So the H3, number 1 is H, hands leading. So the first H is hands leading. Second one is hands down the line. The third one is hip check. So I'm going to show you that. So when I set up, I look down, I see the H3. Okay? So in my mind, I look down and see that. I should think hands leading. So as I set up, my hands are now leading. I don't want to be behind the golf ball, they're leading. So the hands right now are at the ball and they're leading. So there's H number 1. I'm going to hit a stroke. Okay? I'm going to hold the finish. And I have hands down the line. So right now, if I look at this, 2 things I can look at. I can look at the string, obviously, and that putter's right in the middle of that string. The second thing is, if I didn't have that string, I could see that red line from the mirror. My putter should still be square past that red line. It's not inside, it's not outside, it's squared on the red line. So that's hands down the line. The third one's hip check. If you notice, this butt end is pointed at my hip. Okay, so when I take a stroke, that butt end, whether it's a small stroke, a real small stroke, or a longer stroke, this butt end points at the lead hip. We talk about that in our fundamentals about hip check. What you don't see is this. That's a cast or a flip. And notice, I'll do one right now, and I'll sit here and I'll take a practice stroke and it's improper. And notice, everything here will be improper. So right now, hands are behind. So I've broken down the first H. I flip it. Hands are not leading. Hands are behind. Okay, I broke down the second H. Hip check. That's not even close to pointing to my lead hip. Okay, so I'm going to hit one more putt here, and I'm going to show you how this works. So the H3s. H number 1 is hands leading. So I set up. Okay, hands leading. H number 2. That's number 1. I now go hands down the line. Okay, and the third one is hip check at the hip. Okay, and that's the 3 H's you look for. That's what the H3 is all about. It reminds you every time. I want you to look down and be reminded of that, because I know I won't use this for a week. I'll pull it out. I go, oh, H3. I go, hands leading, hands down the line, hip check. That's what it is. It's a reminder for you all to make sure you get that, because let's be honest, if your hands are leading at setup, if your hands go down the line, and your butt end is pointing towards your hip, you're probably going to hit a pretty good putt. All you really got to worry about with that is now speed. Okay, so work on those 3 H's, work on your putting, you'll get much better. Now I want to talk for a second here, a little bit of advanced work here, and we talk about the fundamentals of putting, and one of the fundamentals we have is that there's no movement except your shoulders. So there's no knee movement, there's no hip movement, there's no head movement, obviously. The only thing that moves in a putting stroke is your shoulders. And how do you check that? Because a lot of people, unless you filmed yourself or you looked at your shadow, and that's kind of unusual at times, have a hard time doing this. Well, you can actually use this red line to check that. And you're probably thinking right now, okay, let's hear this. Well, let's talk about that for a second. Because remember, this red line is your eye line. Your eyes go over the red line. Well, here's the interesting part. If I hit a stroke and I keep my head still and my body still, my eyes will still be over that red line. If I move any part of my body, okay, from my hips, my knees, my head, if I move any part of my body, my eyes are going to shift. Eyes are going to shift because the shoulder's no longer rotating, they're actually rolling, okay? And that's an issue. So here's what I want you to do. You're going to sit up over the mirror, okay? You're gonna get your eyes over the red line, over the eye line, okay, or the red line on it. You're gonna hit a stroke and you're gonna hold your finish. So now I'm gonna hit a stroke, I'm gonna hold my finish, and right now my eyes are still over that red line. If I hit a stroke and my eyes went on the inside or they went on the outside, okay, I know there's issues there because I'm moving my body. So you can literally take a stroke, hold the finish, the eyes should still be in the same spot. Now, for some of you, they might back up slightly because your shoulders are rocking, but they're still over the line, okay? So when you take a stroke, they're still over the line. What you don't see is your eyes going to the inside or going to the outside. They still like, and that's a great thing to look at, because if you're moving your lower body, if you're moving your head, which are all going to cause putting issues, your putters now could go outside in, inside out. There's going to be some error in your putting. You'll watch your eyes shift off of that line. So look down in that line. I like to call it the 3-second rule. I'll actually take a stroke, hold it for 3 seconds, 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000. In that 3 seconds, I'm checking, are my eyes still over the line? Is that putter face square? Is this butt end pointed in my hip? That's my 3-second check. I'm looking down to make sure I putt right. So use not only that red line to get your eyes over the ball, use that red line to see if the body's moving. If the body's staying still, your eyes will stay over that red line throughout the putt. All right, let's talk about what's next on our putting trainer here, is these holes in the mirror, pretty obvious holes. And basically, those are very simple. That's actually gonna make a gate for us. So basically what it is, I have a few tees here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the putter down, and I'm gonna set the tees in these holes just outside the width of the putter. So this really, really helps you with path, and it really shows you your path. So right now, I'm gonna set this putter down in this mirror, okay? And I put it right in the middle. And just outside the edge of it, I've got a tee. I'm gonna put one in the back. Now, you could put just those two in and work on a gate for the putter to go through. I'm gonna put ones in the back also. So I'm gonna put one in the back, same width, and 2 in the back, okay? And if you wanna put 2 more behind that, you can do that too. Right now, I've got these 4 in there, okay? And what it does for me now is I take a stroke. If I go outside, I'm gonna hit the tee. If I go inside, I'm gonna hit the tee. Or if I go outside or inside in the through stroke, I'm gonna hit the tee. Ideally, you work with this, you should be able to go back and through without any problem, not hitting the tees, okay? And we see this a lot. Very common, because think about it, I could be set up with a square face, I could have my hands leading, I could be doing perfect, take the putter outside, now I have a bad path. So these tees will show in a second. So I want them just wider than the putter. I actually will put a double set, I'll put some behind it, because a lot of students will actually, that's just towards the edge of my back shoulder. You should still be able to get inside those tees. So those tees are set up for your path. Because remember, the 3 things we look at in putting is face angle, path, and speed. Okay, well, we've done a lot of face angle work on this with the red lines. We've done a lot of that, but we've got to now check our path. Checking our path ideal is making sure we got some gates, we go back and through. And folks, ideal training, if you want ideal training, you don't even need a golf ball. Set up, put the tees in there, and just work on back and through, back and through, back and through. It's ideal training. It is absolutely perfect training. So put the tees in, use them as a gate, work on your path. You will quickly see it, that putter's going outside in, inside out. We want that putter straight back, straight through, especially in these little short putts. You want straight back, straight through. That's why we have a little area here. In those tees, you should be able to get through those tees real easy, help you with your path, and definitely improve your putting. I want to talk about the notches. This is pretty simple in the mirror, but there's 3 notches here you see in the mirror and what they're for. The back notch is actually set there, and as you see here, it's where we actually put the string. So we got the string, we set up a string, it's actually put the stake and it's split right down the center. So if you put that in there and you run it straight towards the hole or towards the break, it'll go right down the red line. That's why that notch is set up. These 2 notches here on the side are help to stake down the mirror. Now on this green today, it's not a real fast, real slick green, so it's staying put pretty good. But you can, if you got a faster green or you got something slicker, maybe you're on the side of a hill or whatever, you can take some tees and just stick them in there and push them down to notch them in. And I'll show you here. So on this one right here, I'm just going to put a tee in this one, and then I'm going to put a tee in this notch, okay? So right now, I could literally sit here and I could go back and forth on this and the mirror's not going to move. So those notches on there help you so that the mirror doesn't wiggle. Because I'll be honest with you, you start hitting these edges, you start hitting a lot, the mirror's going to move all over the place. Or if you tend to drag the putter on the mirror, it's going to move, which is okay, but I want to try to notch it down. So I've got 2 tees in there now. Now I could sit here and go on the mirror, touch the mirror, go on, and it's not going to move. That helps you notch it down and keep it in place. So that's all those are, is those help you stake it into the green. It helps it from moving, it'll keep it in place. And if you use just the mirror without the string, or if you use the mirror somewhere else, those notches will help to keep it very secure. I want to talk about the training system we have here now. And obviously we have the mirror. So we have our putting trainer mirror, okay? We have that. We have it set down. And what I've got here now is I've got the mirror set up. I've got some tees down for the gates, okay? And then I actually have a string. So I've got a string here. I've got one of our little 8-foot strings here. I've got it set in the notch in the back. But the reason I have the string is because now I'm going to try to get this ball going down the string. So remember, in putting, you're trying to train path, face, and speed. Path, face, and speed. So this mirror right here not only gives me path and face, but it also gives it a check. When I put the string on top, it gives me a check that ball will ride down that string. And that's what I want to do. Now, the only thing it doesn't do, okay, because I have a hole here and I can putt into the hole, and I've done that, and that's great, but it doesn't give me ideal speed, because I could hit one a little bit soft, I could hit one a little bit hard, and chances are it's going to still go in the hole. It's not as specific as I want. So I'm going to actually add a throw hole. Okay, so I've got a mirror, okay, I've got our putter training system, our H3 putting training system, I've got a string, and now I'm going to take a throw hole. And also the beauty of this, you can do it anywhere. It doesn't have to have a hole on the green. You can do it on a shag carpet, you can do it anywhere you want to do it. As long as you get the string in, you can get a mirror, okay, and you got the trainer here. Now I'm going to set this down. Now I'm just going to set it down, okay, a little bit short of the hole, just here, just because, I just got it set down. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to make this putt into that throw hole. Because what it will do is if I got ideal speed, okay, it will stay, okay, in the throw hole. Now notice, that one went through. That would have been a little hard. And I promise you, if there was a hole there, that would have made it in the hole. And I kind of did that intentionally for you. It was perfect right in the center, but it was a little bit too hard. It jumped out of the throw hole. So I'm going to do another one for you. So again, I'm under the string. I'm doing all the check systems on our training system, our H3 training system. I'm doing everything good. Now I'm going to hit a putt, okay? Another one. Without it been, the hole would have been there, trust me, it would have gone in, but it would have been a little bit hard, okay? Third one, and this one I'll do ideal speed. Okay, and that was ideal speed. So not only could I check path, face angle, I can also check speed. So if you want an ideal putting training system, I would suggest getting the mirror, getting a string, getting a throw hole, putting them on the green. Now you can check every part of your putting. Because too often I see guys working on path, working on alignment, working on shoulders, with all stuff you want to work on, but they neglect the speed. Because yes, you can make putts, but you can hit them a little bit too soft, a little bit too hard, and then you go out and you start reading break on green, and you hit them a little soft, a little hard, you go through that break, or you fall short of that break. That's the problem. So I like to throw the throw hole down. I throw it down, now I can actually work on all three things. I can work path, face, and speed, work with our training system, guys. And remember, putting is worth almost half of the game, okay? For an average player, it's worth 43% of the game if you want an exact number. If you're a good putter, chances are you'll be a good player. It saves your game, it helps your game, it builds your game, okay? This system right here is the system set up to not only work on your putting, but hands leading, hands down the line. That whole system helps every part of your game, okay? So setting up the system right here, 5 minutes under this system is worth hours and hours and hours without it. In fact, you can't beat that. 5 minutes in this system is worth 10,000 hours without it. You can't beat it. This is what you see the big boys, the big girls, all the pros, this is what they're using. They always have some type of training down, just like this they're using to become better putters. And we strongly suggest get the mirror, get our putting training system, get a string, get the throw hole, put this together, go work on your putting. I absolutely guarantee you, work on half your game, building your game, it will reduce your handicap faster than anything you can imagine. It will greatly, greatly enhance your putting, which obviously will greatly reduce your scoring.